People told me I couldn't do a lot of things.
I feel like I'm the chosen one.
Look at this. We created this. This didn't exist before we were here. All we are is proud and passionate. I love Toronto. I love this team. And we're going to the NBA Finals. Let's go!
Nothing matters but winning.
You're going to the NBA Finals for the first time in your career.
Canada, the NBA title is yours. The Toronto Raptors are the 2019 NBA champions.
Welcome back to Rapzville Weekly. I'm your co-host, Gabriel Chelio, along with
Adam Kasuchi.
And today we are starting our NBA Week 1 recap. So basketball is officially back. We started with scrimmages, and now we have official games. We are recording this as of August 1st, and we just finished watching the first Raptors game. So we are excited and ready to rumble. So, Raptors scrimmages. The Raptors went 2-1 during their scrimmages. We beat the Rockets 94-83 and the Trailblazers 110-104, but we lost to the Suns 106-117. In the Rockets game, our team shot 48% from the field, and the Rockets shot 38% from the field. And from three, we both shot around 29%. We shot 10 for 34. So not bad. Took a lot of three balls, and we see that our field goal percentage, obviously, we were shooting much better than the Rockets. That was the difference maker, was our offense. We played well each quarter. We had more assists and rebounds as well, and both teams had about 20 turnovers. So clearly, we're getting back into the swing of things. It's our first scrimmage, so things obviously were going to be a little sloppy, and players had to get warmed up again.
Yeah, Freddie and OG, that game against Houston, they shot poorly. They were still getting their legs under them. Serge was great, actually, leading us with 18 points on 8 for 10 field goal. And Pascal had 5 turnovers that game, which he still looked like he was getting back into the rhythm of things, but he was great tonight. Harden had 24 points and 10 dimes for the Rockets, while shooting 6 for 15. Nothing compared to his 35 bomb against the Celtics in 3 quarters with 8 3-pointers. He, Westbrook, and Gordon all had 4 turnovers apiece that game. So they weren't handling the ball well, turning it over, obviously.
Yeah, and a low-scoring game as well. Rockets only had 83 points, so clearly, our defense was superb that game. And moving on to the Trailblazers game, we shot 39% from the field, and they shot 42% from the field. We shot 39% from 3 on 17 for 44 shooting, so another 10 3 balls and made 7 of those threes. A lot of 3 balls that game, and Portland only managed to shoot 25% from 3. So clearly that was a little bit of a difference maker there. A lot more threes. We made more than them, better shooting percentage. That's ended up happening. And we basically had the same amount of assists. We barely led in rebounds, and turnovers basically the same. We had around 15, so a little bit less than the Rockets game, and I guess that could be attributed, maybe to the slower tempo compared to the Rockets, how they play that high intensity offensive game, and that's why I find it funny that that was the lowest scoring game so far out of the scrimmages, because they do play a fully offensive game, and the Rockets don't really try to emphasize their defense like we do, so we contain them very well.
Yeah, for sure. Serge once again led us with 19 points and 6 rebounds, showing his consistency in the starting games on 5 for 9 shooting. Siakam also had 18 points and 6 rebounds on 5 for 13 field goals, still getting his legs under him, still working on that jumper. Yeah. But Norman Powell as well shot 2 for 9 this game. Once again, just still getting into rhythm for sure. Rondé shot 1 for 7, and Freddie left early to avoid injury. Kyle also had 4 turnovers this game. I guess still running the plays, still kind of getting to know the offense again. Again, being off for such a great amount of time, it's kind of hard to get everything back so quickly.
Yeah, I think also, I think maybe because the scrimmages too, players aren't going, full tempo, but it was a little bit sloppy at first, maybe just getting back into the full speed of the game and stuff. And, Rondé hasn't been playing the best off of the restart, but I like what Serge has started with. Hope he continues to play this way.
Mm-hmm. Almost everyone on Portland shot 50% or below from the field, meaning our defense did their job for the day. Yeah. But CJ had 21 points, catching heat in that first half. and he was the only player over 50% while Dame didn't play. They did a great job, only allowing him to score 2 points in the second half. So they really did a good job of adjusting to CJ's game and locking him up.
Yep. And finally, against the Suns, we were unable to outscore them in any of the quarters. That was our problem. We either tied or were outscored. We shot 45% from the field, which is good, on 80 shots. And they shot 43% from field, but on 91 shots. The three-point percentage is roughly the same, 37 for us, 38 for them. We had less assists, more rebounds, but way more turnovers. Our 28 turnovers compared to their 18, so much more than even the Rockets game and the Portland game. 28 is a high number, and 10 more than them is also a problem in my eyes.
Yeah, for sure, Gabe. We turned the ball over a lot. OG and TD both had 4. Boucher, Freddie, Pascal, and Kyle all had 3. So we were turning it over. Not taking care of the ball always leads to a bad result, right?
Yeah, I know. Sorry, to add a point there, I was going to say that, like, watching that game, it looked like really sloppy. Our players looked almost like tired, like lethargic. We were just giving the ball away really easy, and most of it were on just passes, like just simple passes from a guard to a big. It was just too slow or too predictable, and then a player would just intercept it and go the other way. So I know players got to get used to the speed of things and got to be ready for the real life games.
Yeah, I feel to add to that point, I felt like they were just trying to get the last scrimmage game done with,
probably,
and then moving on to the regular season, right? Games that are much more meaningful, obviously. So Pascal did lead us with 17 on 6 for 9 shooting that night. Fred shot 4 for 11, and Matt Thomas 1 for 5. They weren't really on their games that night, but Pascal played very well. Mikal Bridges was able to drop 26 on us, driving, finishing at the rim, and shooting as well with 10 for 12 shooting, along with Rubio's 22. Both had 4 threes. So we were kind of disrespecting Rubio's shot, and he made us pay.
Yeah, so that pretty much sums up what happened in the scrimmages, Raptors wise, because we're going to focus on that. But now starting with the regular season, everyone's excited for this first big game, the Battle of LA, Los Angeles Clippers versus the Los Angeles Lakers. I think this game, was very interesting. The Lakers started off hot in the first quarter, and obviously it made sense due to the Clippers' lack of bench. They were missing Lou Williams and Harrell. But Clippers did find a way to, win the next 2 quarters, outscoring the Lakers and bringing it back. And they did hold a lead for a bit. And I thought that, maybe they can go away with it. Kawhi Leonard was playing good. Paul George was playing really, really, really good. It was actually playing scary. But, they couldn't close it out. It was a very wild finish. Clippers did shoot better from the field and from 3, and surprisingly a lot more, 43% from the field, where the Lakers shot 39%. And from 3, 44% from the Clippers, was the Lakers only shot 30. But the Lakers did get a lot more rebounds and assists. So I think, second chance points had a huge factor here. And 22 turnovers for the Clippers compared to the Lakers' 16. Adam, I know we both watched this game. Definitely a fun game to watch. What are your thoughts after watching this game?
I thought with the Clippers not having Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams in the game, I thought that guys like Reggie Jackson did step up, but other than that, like the rotational players didn't give too much to offer here. On the LA side, I think Davis really carried. LeBron was passing the ball phenomenally that game.
Yeah,
and Kuzma was kind of a surprise there, kind of showing that he is the scoring machine that he is, dropping 16. And even Alex Caruso on the defensive end showing some defensive awareness and some great steals as well. But that's it.
Yeah, I think Davis, he did phenomenally. LeBron wasn't shooting the ball too well this game, but he did make up for it for his passing and his defense. He really clutched up at the end, played really hard defense on Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, helped close out that game, plus making a big shot near the end. But, Paul George did have a great game, 30 points, hit a big three-pointer at the end. Kawhi Leonard as well with 28. I think it was an action-packed game, definitely a fun game to watch to start the season. And it's interesting now to see, who's going to be coming out of the Western Conference Finals, who will make it out. I think clearly we could see that it'll be a tough matchup, but Clippers were not at full strength, that's for sure. And LeBron was not playing at his best either, shooting-wise. So it's going to be a tough matchup for sure, and I'm excited to see where this goes.
For sure.
Yeah, so moving on to another big game that happened yesterday we had the Boston Celtics versus the Milwaukee Bucks. So now we got almost the opposite in the East here. It wasn't us, but Boston, another good team in that third position that we want to stay away from. But at the same time, it's like, do we want to catch the Bucks? But the Bucks are, I think they were ahead by 7 games at the time, so you're not really moving too much. You kind of want to just stay where you are. So the Bucks did end up winning that game, 119-112. So everyone, we're staying in our positions. Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart led the way with 22 and 23. Marcus Smart was a dog that game. He was really pesky. He was guarding everyone on the court. He was guarding Giannis, and he was doing his job. I guess some flash layups, but in the end, Milwaukee took care of business. Giannis, 36 points, 15 boards, and 7 assists on 70% field goal. It's hard to do anything against that. If you're shooting that well, that big of a number, there's not much you can do. He played dominant, like the MVP caliber player he is. He did his job really. Middleton only shooting 30% from the field, but he did have 18 points. His other role players, they hit shots when they mattered. And Wesley Matthews, I believe, was 1 for 5, all from 3. And then he hit a big shot, I believe, in the fourth quarter to go 2 from 6, and that shot helped put them over the edge. So, definitely another good game to watch in the East, I believe. Adam, thoughts on this game?
Yeah, the Bucks obviously pulled the win out of the hat here. I feel Jaylen Brown had a good game, like you said. Marcus Smart, both dropping 22 and 23 points. Jason Tatum had an off shooting night, shooting only 11% from the field.
Yeah, that was also something I would point out too.
And Gordon Hayward had a very well-rounded game, scoring 17, had 9 boards and 6 assists. On the Milwaukee side of things, I mean, Giannis had an incredible game, 36 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists. No doubt. Like you said, 70% shooting. When he's shooting that good, you can't really do much. But if I was Boston and Brad Stevens, I would have sagged off of him a bit more. Even though he gets a little bit more pace when he's running at you, I'd rather have him shoot the ball, obviously, than drive to the rim and break you down, draw and kick, all that type of stuff. As well as Chris Middleton had a good game, obviously 18 points. And the role players from Milwaukee, I feel like they're very steady with George Hill, a lot of experience with Ersan Ilyasova and Dante DiVincenzo, obviously playing extra minutes, but he's playing well, stepping up to the task.
Yeah, so moving on then, we have that same night, we had the Rockets versus the Mavericks, another big fun game to watch. I believe this was the battle for the 6th and 7th seed. Big scoring game. We ended up going to OT, and 153-149 was the result, with Houston taking the game. Big scoring game, 42 points for both teams in the first quarter. This is the Houston Rockets basketball that everyone knows. A lot of offense, very little defense. That's letting up a lot of points. That's 139 points at the end of the game before OT. That's a lot of points to give up, and but Rockets did score a lot to make up for it. And Harden had a tear of a night. He was on, I believe he had 23 or 25 in the first, something like that. First quarter, ended up the game with 49 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists on 70% field goal. He was on a tear and a half, and he did end up getting 18 free throws out of making 18 out of 21. And he did, at the end of the game, they did clutch up by missing a free throw and then getting a layup to tie it up. He obviously dropped an insane amount of points. Russell Westbrook put in his own with 31 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists. Huge night for them too, the duo. And Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis had a huge game as well. They tried their best to keep themselves in the game, but they obviously couldn't close it out. Kristaps dropped 39 points, 16 rebounds, and 2 assists, whereas Luka Doncic had 28 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists, getting his triple-double. He had the chance to win there. Off the one leg step back, one-handed floater sort of three-pointer. I'm like, I almost thought it was going to go in just because it's Luka, but obviously couldn't make that. And then Houston came out hot in OT. They hit a couple of big shots off the bat. Dallas can do much, and they put the game away. I think that this sums up Houston basketball pretty well, and I think that this matchup between these two is always a fun one to watch. Battle of Texas, right?
Yeah. Okay, so my explanation, honestly, for this game was I was texting Gabe throughout the game, and I saw that Harden was having a great first quarter, and I was saying to Gabe that I don't think the Rockets are going to end up winning the game, even though Harden, because he's always having these great nights, but sometimes the Houston Rockets end up with an L, right? So I'm like, I don't think the Rockets are going to come out tonight, but he did prove me wrong, scoring 49, almost a triple double. And the surprising thing is he shot 70%, which I do have to give to him.
Yeah, I was going to say something.
High percentage, so I can't really say much. Westbrook did his part. Almost another triple-double, 31 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. Daniel House Jr. also putting up 20 points, helping the cast. And PJ Tucker, obviously playing lockdown defense. Dallas, I mean, I'm surprised. I'm surprised they kind of traded buckets like that with such a high-scoring game. I thought they would kind of lock in defensively and kind of put on a run, but I guess not. I mean, Kristaps with 39, Doncic with the triple-double. Trey Burke had an amazing game with 31 points.
I forgot to mention him. I was going to say that as well. 31 points, big game from him, 6 assists too, almost 70% from the field.
Yeah, it's a great game to show why he's playing these minutes. He played 31 minutes, right? So obviously Coach Rick Carlisle sees something
off the bench too.
Exactly. And also Tim Hardaway with 24 played great.
Yeah, they Dallas pretty much had 4 dominant scorers for their team, whereas Houston had 7 guys in double digits. But 3 guys, almost 3. Luka had 28, but almost 3 guys 30 plus. Clearly, they had a little bit of a dominant scoring game, but when you're versus a team like Houston, you got to do to get the buckets, and they made it an exciting night for the fans, at least to watch back home. We got our basketball back. That's all I can say, because they did shoot pretty well. Houston shot 51, almost 52% from the field, and Dallas shot 48% from the field, and from 3, Dallas shot 43%, Houston 40. So both teams shot pretty well. It clearly was a lack of defense, and they took shots that I thought were going in. Obviously, Mavericks clearly dominated the rebounds, 55-43, and you can obviously give that to their dominating size. You look at the Houston small ball lineup, and you got to match that up with Boban, who's just ginormous. I remember I watched a play, Doncic airballed a 3, and Boban just caught it and dropped it in the net because PJ couldn't do much to defend him. And then you obviously got Kristaps. You have big players in Dallas, and Houston goes small ball. I think it's a perfect counterbalance to watch some exciting basketball. But at the same time, you sometimes have to guard that, because I know on Bucks Celtics went small ball, and Bucks had no choice but to react. They couldn't keep one of the Lopez brothers on the floor because they were too big and too slow, because Boston's got that fast-paced, intense defense, and Bucks had to react. So they took out their big, and they made Giannis go center, guarded by Jaylen Brown. And then the rest was small ball. But the team's got to learn how to match up like that. This bubble, I think, is going to be interesting for new tactics, whether it be to go small or even to go big like Nick Nurse wants to do. So teams are going to have no choice but to play a little chess game of who does what.
Okay. And Gabe, I have an interesting question. If you are an opposing coach versus the Houston Rockets, knowing they have the small ball lineup, are you willing to change your offensive schemes because of that, and kind of change the way you play and kind of work more the post and try to get into the paint? Or would you like to stick with your maybe other offensive schemes that you have planned maybe before the game?
It's challenging, because I think Houston excels so much at that small ball lineup that I feel like most teams match up because they know that they can use this there's great offense they have against us, and they know how to run it. So unless we match our defense to guard their offense, they're going to exploit us offensively. And we have to pray basically that we do the same on their small ball lineup, as we use our size to our advantage. But the problem is that they enjoy playing like that, and they know how to play like that. So if PJ Tucker does a good job of guarding someone like Serge on the inside, and our size becomes somehow neglected, now we just put size for no reason, and we got a slower player in there to guard someone like Westbrook and Harden, 2 extremely fast guards. It can be disadvantage. So we can have a big disadvantage. So I think that it depends. Honestly, I think we could try going big and try to counter them, but once we see that we're 2 steps behind on plays, we're gonna have to go small ball to match up.
Okay, agreed.
Okay, let's move it on to the big event of the night. The Raptors had their first real season game against Los Angeles Lakers, and we took the W 107-92. Shout out to the boys. We got our first win. Exciting game to watch. Obviously, we got to witness our team back in action, and obviously our beloved Kyle Lowry have a phenomenal night. I know that you enjoyed it. He had 33 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists on 50% shooting from the field. He also had a steal. Another good night for OG Anunoby. He was 23 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist, and 2 steals, and he shot 89% from the field, 8 for 9. He had 3 3-pointers, 2 of them coming late in the game, back-to-back, basically, and from that same corner. Obviously showing off his consistency there. Pascal didn't shoot the ball too well, 5 for 17, so 29% from the field. He had 15 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals and 2 blocks, though. And he did have a big basket in the fourth quarter. Big Mark, obviously, played center this game, started. Didn't do too much here, and neither did Serge. It was more game dominated by the guards, Kyle Lowry specifically. He led the tempo for the team, and we played accordingly. I think that they played a phenomenal game. The defense was really strong by both teams, but especially the Toronto Raptors. We did a good job of locking in, shutting them down. I heard on the stat before was that Davis had 34 the other night, like we talked about against the Clippers, but we kept LeBron and Davis combined to 34 this game. So I think we did a good job there. Davis shot only 29% from the field, and LeBron shot 47%. We did a good job of negating them, and when their other teammates can't, hit shots, Danny Green shot 0 for 7. If your shooter is shooting that, I think you got trouble going into the playoffs. I think you can agree with me there.
Yep.
And, Kyle Lowry showed off his masterclass play. When you got younger guys guarding him, they don't know how to guard him. He's good at drawing fouls, getting players to jump, to bite. He sized up Kyle Kuzma a bit, hit a 3-pointer in his face. Kyle Lowry's not a man to mess with when you're going against him one-on-one. He had 12 free throws. He went to the line for 15 shots, made 12 of them. So he knows how to get to the line just like James Harden. James Harden, it's more like he drives, blows by someone, and gets called for an N1. Kyle, he's very particular on how he gets his pump fakes in and drawing defenders in and jumping at them. What are your thoughts, Adam, on this game? Obviously the Lakers had a decent game, but some of their players weren't playing at their top notch, and we were able to get the better of them. Do you see them, playing this same type of basketball? Do you think it was just an off night for them and we should be in for a tougher matchup, or do you think maybe in a 7-game series you're going to expect at least a couple of these from the Lakers?
No, I think this was the best the Lakers can give. I mean, I think we just played great. I mean, it was the Kyle Lowry show tonight. Obviously with 33 points, and the surprising thing is he led the game in rebounds with 14 rebounds.
Yep.
And he's a 6'1" guard with 14 rebounds. That is really incredible. That shows his box out ability, honestly, on the defensive end.
Yep.
Obviously 6 assists, making plays. I mean, Fred had a steady game with 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 11 assists.
Big 3-pointer in the fourth.
Yeah, he always steps up when it matters most, and that's Freddie for you.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, I didn't see too much of him. I mean, I didn't like what I saw too much. Yeah. A couple of great post moves by Mark. The 3-ball just isn't there. I mean, he's got to work on that. I mean, that maybe has to come back with practice and reps. But Siakam, I mean, Kyle Lowry kind of took over, which made Siakam take a bit more less of the load. Yeah. I mean, still dropping 15, 9 rebounds, and got to the line a couple of times. So he did his part as well. OG, I was surprised, very surprised. I mean, I know he was working on his handles,
improved
his
player
shooting abilities. I mean, I don't think that I think the Lakers really underestimated him, and he came out guns blazing, 23 points, 89% field goal percentage. Yeah. That's great. If he can perform like this every game, the Raptors are in really good shape. Another weapon the opposing team has to worry about.
Yep. In the starting lineup specifically, I think he does his job. We become a real threat. Marc Gasol, if he gets that 3-pointer down or if Serge is in, I think Serge has been playing better throughout the season. And first 2 scrimmages showed that as well. If you had Serge in there, I think the team becomes complete when everyone's on their game. Kyle Lowry obviously can do it all. He's a hustle player and he's a spark. Once you get that spark going for the team, we're off. And all we need is one player to set that spark. If we're playing good defense, that spark on offense will make up for it. So, Kyle Lowry can do everything. Freddie can hit big shots when it matters, whether it be a 3-ball threat or take it to the rack because he has the handles for it. They obviously together have the passing ability, and Pascal can do stuff in the post. He can shoot the ball a little bit. He's working on his mid-range. I know he's trying to fade a lot more now. I don't know if he can, master that. And then Ibaka is obviously that inside threat with the post hook and the pick and pop. So if OG can do his job to be that threat, whether it be to consistently hit the ball in the corner or go to the rack, I think this team has a deadly starting lineup from now on.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Serge Ibaka tonight with five personal fouls. I mean, he was in foul trouble. He didn't seem himself tonight, I thought, Gabe. I didn't see him. Maybe it's because of the big presence LA has in the paint with Davis at the 4 and then JaVale and Dwight. It's harder to do the post hook on a bigger defender, right? So maybe he was shying away from that. Not too many pick and rolls with him. Powell, I felt, was off tonight. I felt he was just driving to the rim, head down, not making too many smart decisions. But I feel that he'll get his game back.
Yeah,
Norm always does.
0 for 4 from 3 this game for Norman Powell. We expect improvement from him. Obviously, him and OG, I think, are two players that have really improved this season and are big improved players. And I think those are two players to watch out for. If one of the two has a big performance tonight, it's going to really help out this team because we know we can consistently count on Kyle and Pascal and even Serge or Freddie to put up some type of big numbers in the points department, depending on how many shots they take. But still, that they're going to contribute to the offense. So as long as OG or Norm, one of them has a big sparking night, I think this team is off to the races. So we're going to hope that Norm gets back into it. Same thing with Serge. I think your right side has a factor to play with this. And also I think tempo, LA's a good team. And I think fast-paced basketball is I noticed in the bubble a lot more. There's been a lot more fast-paced, high-tempo basketball happening and a lot of quick shots and stuff. And I'm not sure. Maybe it's the defense. The other teams think that defenses aren't at their highest ability, or people aren't ready for that fast pace. So maybe that's why the play has been happening faster. But I think there's a lot of rush shots and pull ups and just chucking 3 bombs. I know Matt Thomas had a random pull up this game. And I think we're kicking out the Surge for a couple of 3-pointers and not ones he's comfortable with taking maybe. So that could be where the problem lies, I guess. And
now for me, just moving on to Lakers. With Dion Waiters, I thought he was a great addition, probably the best addition out of Morris, J.R. Smith, and all them, right? I thought he was the best addition. He obviously dropped 12 points tonight. Crusoe, I think he is a bit overrated playing with the players he does play with, but he did I guess average tonight with 11 points, 3 steals, and 3 assists. Kuzma was fantastic. I mean, he hit big shots tonight with 16. I felt we were kind of disrespecting his shot a bit, and he kind of made us pay. Danny Green, I'm going to skip him because I don't even want to talk about him. Just a horrible performance. He gets paid to shoot threes and play defense, and he didn't do both tonight. That was horrible from him. I'm just going to skip over Danny Green. JaVale McGee, didn't see much from him. In foul trouble. Wasn't a big show tonight. No highlight reel blocks or anything. It was very quiet. Davis I don't know what was wrong with him tonight. He couldn't get into the post game. He was settling for jumpers, and I know that's not Davis's game.
Yeah.
And obviously LeBron, almost with the triple double. I felt he wasn't as well as good as he could have been tonight. But I think it was just because of the Raptors' defense and the different schemes.
Yeah, if you give him the light, he will make you pay. He did go to the rack for a couple of hard takes, trying to force a comeback, but we did a good job of closing it out.
And that's it, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that wraps it up here for Week 1 recap. Hope you all enjoyed. Please like and subscribe on our different services, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, other listening platforms, and of course YouTube for some visuals. That's pretty much it.
And before we go, Gabe, I just wanted to mention me and Gabe are working extremely hard with the editing process on the IG account.
True.
And with our YouTube. Show some love. Tell your friends about it. We're really trying to make this happen with Rapzville, and that's all I got to say.
Perfect. Okay, so that's us signing out. Peace.